Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Find Your Finish Line. I'm your host, Mike Riley, and today's guest is very special, a dear friend. And I'm wearing the Ironman Lake Placid shirt in honor of her, and we'll tell you why during the broadcast. She's the reason I'm going to Lake Placid. We are in the thick of summer. You're training for your races, training for Lake Placid, and everything else. Hydration, it's the key. Make sure you hydrate before you work out. You don't want to get 30 to 45 minutes into your workout and all of a sudden you go, wow, I'm really thirsty. Well, your body's depleted by then. So make sure you stay smart with your hydration during the hot summer months. And also, for some reason, we seem to lose our appetite when it gets warmer, unlike the winter months when, wow, we've got a good appetite. So during the summer months, make sure you get your nutrition in, again, before and after your workouts and during, especially for recovery, so the next day's training session can be a strong one. I'd like to send out two good lucks to two new podcasts in our triathlon world that are out there. The first one, it's called Ironman Insider, hosted by Matt Lieto. You all know Matt from the great broadcast and expert commentary he does on the Ironman broadcast shows. We've been listening to Matt for 3 or 4 years now, and he does an excellent job on those broadcasts. The other podcast coming out is by Pro Sky Monch out of Utah. The aptly named podcast is Sky's the Limit. I love that. Sky was a guest on Find Your Finish Line back in May, if I'd like to listen to her on that podcast. She won't be racing, she just announced, for the rest of the year, because in November, her and her husband, Matt, are expecting their first child. Another professional with a child. She'll probably be back racing in 2025, stronger than ever. So good luck to Matt Lieto on Inside Ironman Insider, and good luck to Sky Monch on Sky's the Limit on your podcast. Now on to our very special guest on Find Your Finish Line today. Join me every month for the inspiration to find your finish line. My mom had a sign up in the house all the time, and the sign said, "It is in giving that you receive." You know, as a youngster, I really didn't know what that meant. I'm thinking, you mean to get something, I got to give somebody something? That's not, doesn't seem normal to me. But as I got older, I realized what that was all about. And my guest today, that's her life. She wears many hats, but I believe the biggest one is the executive director of the IRONMAN Foundation, the charitable arm of Ironman. She's actually my boss, as I'm the ambassador captain of the IRONMAN Foundation. Welcome to the podcast, Audra. Audra, pronounce your last name for me again.
It's Tassone Indec, but you can just say Tassone. I know it's a long one there.
Tassone.
Yeah.
I always want to say Tassone, you know, like the Italian side.
That's what it was originally. And when my ancestors came over to America, they changed it because people couldn't pronounce it right, or they were looking at them weird, like, what? Tassone? It's Tassone. So
Yeah,
they
exactly.
changed it. Yeah.
Well, Audra, thank you very much for spending time with us today. I believe that a lot of people know what the Ironman Foundation is all about, but they don't know all of your background, which I want to jump into because you have worn many hats at Ironman, besides being the executive director of the foundation. But Audra, I always ask my guests, the very first question I always ask them, athlete, age grouper, sponsor, whomever it may be, what kind of workout did you get in today?
Today, actually, I did not get a workout in. I was driving back from Connecticut today, so no workout today. Yesterday, though, I did a great run.
Good. Tell us about that. Did you run in Connecticut?
No, I actually ran in New Hampshire before I left. So I went out, it was a 4-mile run. I went out with a girlfriend of mine and it was great. It just felt good to sweat, get out there. It was a beautiful morning. Came back, showered, and jumped in the car to drive to Connecticut.
I love that. I love that. Well, Audra, before we get into the foundation, give us a little bit about your background and career. Before Ironman, you know, did you think you're going to be doing something like this at Ironman? Give us a little background about yourself.
No, not at all. So I was with another event company called Endorphin Sports. I've always been in the fitness industry. I was a personal trainer. I was, a runner. I just love to work out. Moved to New Hampshire, and I was like, what am I going to do here? So I started an indoor triathlon. And at the time, there was a local race director, Keith Jordan, who started and owned and operated Endorphin Sports. Fast forward, we were one of the first licensees for Ironman. So it was Timberman, 70.3 Timberman, 70.3 Mooseman, 70.3 Lone Star, which is actually 70.3 Texas. And then it was 70.3 Austin, which is no more. So I started working with Keith, and I just got into the triathlon business. Fast forward, Ironman purchased the events. I was hired by Shane Facto, who's actually my boss now. Started out as my boss, then I had different bosses, and now it full circle back. He's my boss currently, and I started off where I race directed 4 events for Ironman, and then I also was volunteer director for 4 events. Then I moved up to operations manager, operations director, and then regional director for the Northeast. And I was the only female in my position. So I take a lot of pride in that, because it's very much a male dominant world. So I have great coworkers. So I did that. I've been with Ironman for almost 15 years. COVID hit. I was laid off. I was actually hired by the Tennessee Titans, and I was walking into the stadium, and Shane sent me a text, and he's like, "Do you have a minute to talk?" And I'm like, I know what this is going to be about. And so I stopped, I called him, and he's just like, "I need you back. And I was wondering if you'd be interested in running the foundation." As an interim, obviously I would have to go through, meeting the board, the proper interview and everything. And here I am,
Right,
3 years
right.
later, I'm the executive director for the foundation.
So wait a minute. Did you go all the way into the Titans stadium, or did you go in and say, "Sorry, I'm not taking the job," and you left? What'd you
I did.
do?
I went in and I was just like, I know, because it was Shane, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's an incredible boss. And I'm like, it's the devil you know, the devil you don't know. So I went in there and I was like, I can't take the job. I turned around, changed my flight, picked up my stuff, and went home.
Wow, I did not know that. I
Yeah,
knew after the pandemic, Shane called and brought you back, but I had no
no,
idea about the
it,
Tennessee Titans
I,
story.
it was just perfect timing. And like, again, when I saw his text, I was like, I know what this is going to be about. I know what this is going to be about. So I'm very happy that,
I love that.
yeah, that he called, and here I am. So
Although, with a lot of age groupers listening to the podcast and pros, well, as a race director back in the day, what was the hardest thing you had to do being a race director? What was the toughest thing that was always a challenge?
for me, the toughest thing was when everybody got out of the water, and when we count the bikes to make sure everybody got out of the water. So we do the appropriate safety check. So for me, that always gave me the most anxiety. And then, like, later on through the day, when you would walk through transition and you would see a bike there, and it's like, did I count that bike? And I was so like, I had OCD with it, the way I would go through it. But that was always the hardest for me. That was probably the most challenging. Yeah, you have challenges with the venues, police, things, just jumping through hoops to try to make everybody happy, which you can't, but we're coming into a community. So it's just trying to keep everybody like on the same page and communicate it as much. So that I didn't find as challenging. It was more of like just the anxiety of like the swim safety.
We are in the business of endurance and the endurance sports. And I've talked to a lot of business people that have fulfilled various roles in a company, the same company or different companies, but they've had different roles. Then when they got to the role that they believed, wow, this is really for me, having that experience of so many other experiences of those roles gave them kind of a leg up. Do you feel that's your case also?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, definitely. I worked at pretty much every aspect of Ironman, starting from supply. I helped out in registration. I did expo. I did courses, build out venues, and then it just became like a more well-rounded employee. And so I have so much like knowledge, and I love that. That was one of the ways like Shane would teach us, is just kind of throw us into the fire and just be like, you got this, figure it out. And so yes, so absolutely.
Are there other women in the same type of roles as you now?
For yeah, so there's one yes, there are. There's a female regional director, and then there's female operation managers and directors. So it's great. And then there's VP of global ops, excuse me, which is Beth, female, Joanna, Jordan. So it's really nice to see like how we've grown in so many different ways.
People always ask me, "So, what do you miss the most, Mike?" And it is the athletes, but it's the team.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Joanna and you
Yeah.
mentioned Beth, and obviously Shane, and going back so far with all of them, it's like they're still family, but it's family members I just don't see a whole lot anymore. So that is
Mhm.
that is a missed aspect of it all.
Yeah.
Audra, let's talk about the Ironman Foundation. Uh, the Race for More model and the models that you've had over the years.
Mhm.
Why don't you tell us really what the main goal of the foundation is?
So, the main goal for the foundation is giving back to our race community. So, since 2003, we've given back over $55 million to over 10,000 nonprofits. After this year, we're going to be up to $60 million. So, which is
Wow.
amazing. So, we fund all our volunteer groups for all the races in North America, and then obviously the World Championship events. So that's really our main goal. And then we do a couple other projects where we work with kids. We've given away over 3,000 swim lessons to kids who just did not or don't have the opportunity. And it's not because their parents don't want them to, it's just life's hard. Things are expensive. So we'll go in,
Yeah.
prime example this weekend. I'll be in Chattanooga, and we're doing a swim clinic. We partnered with CAF, and so we're going to have a bunch of kids, teach them how to swim, and we're going to give back $10,000 for swim lessons. The average swim lesson costs $12.57. So every penny counts.
And then let's go back on this and talk about Oceanside as the swim clinic.
Yeah. Yep.
So you did a swim clinic in Oceanside also after the 70.3, didn't we?
We did, yes. So again, we partnered with CAF because historically what we've done in Oceanside is an adaptive surf clinic. So we the team and I talked it over, and it's like, let's do swim lessons because that's what we've been doing in so many different markets. And again, we want to introduce kids to the sport, whether it's through swimming or we give back bikes. So we reached out to CAF, who's one of our longstanding partners, and we asked, and they were all about it. So we ended up there was 30 kids that attended, and it was about 2 hours long, and we had a bunch of coaches, and it was fantastic. And that's where we gave another $10,000 donation to CAF, so they can use it for their swim programs.
Yeah, being one that's been on site and seen what's going on with it all, having Rudy Garcia Tolson there,
Yep.
one of the most coveted amputee athletes in the world today, and seeing all these kids and seeing their faces of one came out of the water and said, "I swam 2 laps instead of one." I mean, just to see that,
Yeah.
yeah, it just and giving back that way, it's tremendous. I hope more people can get to those clinics. So, what's going on at Ironman Lake Placid for the 25th anniversary? My goodness, I hear this Riley guy may be coming back, but I don't know about that.
I
So,
heard that
but
too. I don't know. Or did I see them
and
written on the bathroom wall? I don't remember. Where was
yeah,
that?
well, I have to, I don't have to, I want to. Audra here was instrumental, the number one reason why this guy is going back to Lake Placid. And Audra, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for pushing that through and bringing me back because I really, deep down wanted to come back, but obviously I wasn't going to upset any type of apple cart. But you brought me back, and now I think it's going to be one heck of a good time. But with the 25th anniversary, talk about some of the things that the Ironman Foundation is doing in Lake Placid, that especially that other people can be involved in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Mike. First of all, I have to say, Lake Placid is not Lake Placid without you. We have incredible announcers, but you've been there since day one. And when you weren't there last year, it just felt different. And and especially with the 25th anniversary, it's like you need to be there. So I'm so glad we were able to work that out. So thank you. Thank you for
Me too.
working with me. So I'm looking forward to hearing you call out, especially our athletes. You are an Ironman. So it'll be fun. So
Okay, when I'm in the bathroom, you got it.
I got
You
it. I got it. I'll
got-
bring the massage gun too for my leg, like old
yeah.
times. so, so for Lake Placid 25th year anniversary, so we've got a couple of things going on for the Ironman Foundation. We're giving back over 75 bikes to local kids. So we're working with
Mm.
one of the local schools there. We are also we're giving back $50,000 year to date. We've given back to Lake Placid communities close to $2 million. We'll probably hit the $2 million mark this year. We
Wow.
also, as a fundraiser, we did these special relay teams here. So we have retired pros that are coming back, and we auctioned off one of the disciplines. So we have Andy Potts and Ben Hoffman. And then we have one of our athletes is going to be riding. So Andy and Ben are both going to do one loop of the swim and one loop of the run, and they're going to alternate back and forth. We also have Heather Jackson and Sika Henry that are on another team. So Heather's going to do the bike, Sika's going to do the run, and one of our athletes is going to do the swim. And then we have Andrea Fisher, and then Rennie is going to be there along with To. He's coming to help, to root her on, and he'll be part of our service projects with the bikes. So many things are going on there from the foundation standpoint. Plus, we have a lot of like really cool gifts for the athletes there. And then we're gonna have like a special VIP party. We're gonna just really celebrate Lake Placid and the captains that have been there all 25 years or multiple years. Is, as we all know, Lake Placid is such a tight community, and it's just unbelievable. And I'm really happy to be back there, and especially wearing like a couple of different hats for that event. So it's been really nice.
And can't athletes come to the booth at Lake Placid at the expo and help build those bikes for the kids?
They can, yeah. They can come to the booth. We'll be there obviously during expo hours. They can come help build. We're also going to have like a little bit. We're going to have a couple of surprises there. Which you will all see some fun interactive things, and so yeah, it will be fantastic. And then we'll give the bikes back to the kids, and just hopefully make a difference in their lives.
It is. When you're at an event or in a community for so many years, it's almost like a retirement account. It just keeps building and building, and that's what's happened in Lake Placid with
Yeah.
all the money that the foundation's been able to give back to the community.
Mhm.
Are there other communities that we're going to do the same thing in this coming season?
Yeah, so we always do a service project and larger give backs in Kona, so that
Mm.
for Kona we've given back close to $3 million. One, not last year, the year before, we donated $100,000 towards their community pool. On top of that, an additional $10,000 for swim lessons. So
Oh,
we're
wow.
gonna have we've done swim lessons there. We've done bikes. We're coming up with a different service project. I have some ideas in mind. We're going to be in Boulder, 70.3 Boulder, where we're doing a military give back. And we have operations Gold Star, where Dana from my team spearheads all of that. So that's a lot of fun. We'll pack military boxes and just give them back to a local organization. We are going to do swim lessons in Nice. We are going to do a military give back care packages at 70.3 Louisville, plus host a little party where people can come. We're going to have a raffle. We're going to have an auction. You're going to be there, Mike. You're going to MC it. So we're going to drink beer, eat pizza, have tacos, and just have a really good time. We're expecting about 200 people there. We've been working with the local tri clubs. See, where else are we going to be?
Arizona?
Arizona. Yes, we're doing I believe it's either swim lessons or bikes in Arizona, and I can't remember. I know we were going back and forth, but we're doing a service project there. So that's one of our you know it's such a great community, and they've been incredibly supportive to us, and we really like going back there and giving back as much as we can.
As much as the Ironman Foundation has done for the communities, sometimes I was always a little miffed when I stood up at the welcome ceremonies and would say, you'd give me the number, or Caitlin would give me the number of how many Ironman Foundation athletes are racing that particular race, whether it was Placid or Arizona or Wisconsin, whatever it was. And I would say a number of like 40 or 35 or 30. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's 2,000 athletes in the race. I don't get it. It always was a little, I don't know, disappointing to me that not more athletes race with the Ironman Foundation to help raise money, because I truly believe you do it for more than yourself and you're going to have a better race. Are those numbers starting to go up at each event?
They are. So for this year, like Lake Placid alone, we have over 50 Team IMF athletes. And those are our athletes that strictly fundraise for the Ironman Foundation. And then we have community fund athletes. We have over 100. So we're going to have like
Wow.
150 athletes that are representing the Ironman Foundation in some way. So we're very excited about that. 70.3 Oregon is huge for us. Jones Beach, what are some of the other ones? Texas, Ironman Texas. So those numbers are going up, and our Team IMF athletes are really coming around. We have 100 more this year at this time than we did last year, and I've challenged the team pretty hard. I have a
Good.
certain number in mind that I want for the end of this year, and they're definitely working their way towards it. So I won't take no for an answer, but it's such a great cause. I mean, just being able to help over 10,000 nonprofit organizations, and these are school groups, the Girl Scouts, and also on top of it, helping the kids like get into fitness by either swim lessons or bikes or something, or even Iron Kids, something along those lines is really, it's very impactful and pretty emotional too.
It works. Absolutely. We'll keep that emotion thought for a second because I've got a question about that.
Okay.
And by the way, there are still charity spots for Lake Placid available, aren't there?
There are. That's the only way you can get into Lake Placid is to go through a
Uh-huh.
spot with the Ironman Foundation. Yay!
You're gonna
I'm
get a
really
rally towel. Look at that medal, the spinner medal. I got it right here. I'm the first one to get a medal.
Yep.
So
Yep.
to the first finisher in Lake Placid, I got one before you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they can go to ironmanfoundation.org and still enter that race, correct?
They can still enter that race, yes. So, which I encourage everybody, come race with Ironman Foundation. There's a lot of incredible perks. Low bib number, you get custom Santini kits, swag. Mike Riley is going to be there. Access to our webinars, our community. It really is something very special.
Audra, how do you go through the process of, you say for 2025, choosing the communities, the cities that we're going to be in with the races that the Ironman's at? How do you make those choices?
Well, it's really like just looking at the calendar as a whole, and really what events are we going to have the most athletes in, and what would make the most impactful. So what I try to do is kind of spread the love everywhere. I do have my favorites. Ironman Lake Placid is one of my favorites. Chattanooga is another one of my favorites. Obviously Kona, and we always make sure that we do something there. But it's also talking to the regional directors, talking to the race directors, and just finding out what they need. How can we be helpful to your team? by giving back. And so it's a lot of it's a lot of that, just talking to them and seeing what would make the most sense. And then we
Th-
pick between 10 to 15 events we attend.
I love that. And
Yeah.
now we really haven't done a whole lot on the international level, but you mentioned this September you'll be going to Nice with a swim clinic. Are you tied in over there with a charity over in France, or how's that all working out?
Yeah, so we're working with that team now. We worked with a team last year, a nonprofit, and for the life of me, Mike, I apologize, I cannot remember. Pure Ocean. So we were able to go out on a boat. This is where that whole boat theme comes in mind when
Hmm.
we were talking about Kona, and just being able to go snorkeling and just really observing like the fish and just everything that the ocean has to offer. So we work with the local teams on what would be best suited for their community. We also last year in Finland, we did a swim clinic and we had about close to 30 kids there. So it's really working with those teams plus working with the world championship team on what they feel would fit.
Yeah. Well, you've met so many IMF athletes over the years, and I know some have touched your heart. Can you tell us any stories about some of those athletes that have been with the foundation for a long period of time and just keep coming back, and why? Why did they do that?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many of our athletes that really are so near and dear to my heart. Like I wouldn't even know where to start on picking, one
No.
particular one. But I am going to give a call out to Elizabeth Wood. She's one of our ambassadors and has been one of the biggest supporters of Ironman Foundation and has raced year over year and just really is an advocate and just wants to help, get us out there more and bring us to a different level. And just each and every athlete we have are amazing and they all have a story, whether it's mental illness or getting over like drug addiction or depression or just really just want to just give back and race for more. And that's where, so we've been very fortunate to meet so many incredible people.
It is. It's amazing when you see the looks on their faces because they're racing obviously for themselves, but they'll also racing the battle, whatever demons or things that came along in their life. But there's also the athlete out there racing for others. That's also got to be very satisfying.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Like you see it all the like you'll see athletes come across and they, a picture of their loved one or it's written,
Hmm.
their name is written down their leg and everything. And it's very emotional. I always said to myself, if the day that I stood at a finish line and it's really Lake Placid, and if I didn't get emotional, then I'm done. But it's never, I always like I get so teared up and the pros are
Yeah.
amazing, but it's the age grouper. It's the ones that come in towards midnight and you're out there calling them in and it's pretty incredible. I remember like Rick and Dick Hoyt. They used to race Timberman and just seeing them come in and come through the
Hmm.
finish line and I would had tears in my eyes. So it's pretty
Yeah.
it's very impactful and I feel really fortunate to be on this side of the business.
Well, on the Ironman Foundation website, you've got a fantastic quote from Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And that's what the Ironman Foundation, in my mind, being the ambassador captain all these years, is all about.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the what's the best way for an athlete to get involved if all of a sudden they're listening to the podcast and go, I'm racing Arizona or I'm racing Wisconsin or 70.3 somewhere, and maybe I want to get involved. What path do they take to try to get involved?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. So you can go to our website, which is ironmanfoundation.com, and you can go through there. Or when you're on the active registration path, there's different options. If you want to race for the Ironman Foundation, you can click on that and then it will take you through the process of what this all looks like. Or the people can reach out to myself or my team, but that's the best way to get through to us.
How many on your team working with the foundation, Audra?
We are I have to count, so which I'm so like, we've grown so much and I love it. So we have Caitlin, we we have we have 6, and then we have a couple of interns, which is great. When I first started, it was myself, Dana, and Caitlin, and I just remember sitting there and we had to send out 2,000 letters to our athletes, and we're sitting on the floor at, global
Oh my gosh.
headquarters. But yeah, so we've grown tremendously. So it's been fantastic.
I love that. But also, as a note, even though you are the executive director of the Ironman Foundation, you still have other hats on at Ironman, don't you?
I do. I do. So I'm very heavily involved in Ironman Lake Placid this year. That used to be one of the races I managed with the race director. So I was in that market for 10 years. So I was asked to come back and just help, with operations and contracts and everything. So it's been great to also put my operations hat back on, and I've been enjoying looking at the bike course and the run course and doing all those things. So it's going to be incredible this year. So I'm excited to wear both hats at the event.
Yeah, on the Ironman Lake Placid website, I'm seeing a lot of people. Yeah, obviously Placid, everybody goes there and pre-trains quite a bit, rides the course, and I
Mhm.
always see comments about, "Oh my gosh, the roads are in fantastic shape," because when they're not, the athletes are going to let you know about that too. So
Yeah,
it's good to know that the roads are in good shape up there.
yeah, they are, and
Is the community
yeah.
is the community in Lake Placid still as enamored about the event as they always have been?
Yeah, they're happy. Like any event, when we come in, it can be impactful. Not everybody understands Ironman, so we do everything possible to help alleviate, that the blowback of just having athletes come
Mhm.
in and riding across the road. And this is where like foundation really helps, and that's what the give backs and working with the community, where where can we support. But Lake Placid is, they're happy that we're going to be there. They're really excited about the 25th anniversary and our relationship moving forward.
Yeah, I think I don't believe that everybody in the community realizes how much is given back through the foundation to that community.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes down a layer or two where because if you hear a local business complain that the roads are shut off or the business was bad on race day and things like that, uh, I just don't know if they realize how much has been given back. Is that's got to be a big part of your and your team's job of trying to get that word out, isn't it?
It is. And so we're working on a press release for this year. The race director there has been fantastic on getting that word out, working just with the community partners. They've been great too. But yes, we need to do a better job, meaning myself and my team. I'm getting that message out that this is number one, Ironman has a foundation, which people are really starting to recognize. But two, how much we've given back. When I sit there and say we've given back over $55 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And that's money that's fundraised. So, and we've helped over 10,000 organizations. It's like, that's a lot. So we're really trying very hard to just tell our story and push it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Audra, if somebody would come up to you at an event or anywhere and say, why should I be a part of the Ironman Foundation? What would your answer be?
It again, it's about giving back. And I always, it's racing for more, and and you're racing for a purpose. And it's just we have such an incredible supportive community. And I go back to like talking about like the swim lessons or giving a child a bike, and it's their first bike and they're crying and they're like they're just so grateful, and it's like we do that, we're able to help them. So it's really just looking at the bigger picture and just saying like, let's give back, let's do more. So I just get really I'm very passionate about it, so I can talk for hours on end, and I just get excited when I do talk about it. So I think a lot of it, people see it in my mannerism, and it's just it's a very special place.
You are very passionate about it. And I've been there after we built bikes and
Yeah,
given them to the kids and
yeah.
see the looks on their faces. And you've got 40 bikes out there and 40 children getting the bikes. And one time I saw that, I was a part of that, and I'm going, I wonder of these 40 kids, how many are going to be an Ironman athlete because of this? And I think there's probably a few that could come out of that group
Yeah,
where they wouldn't have before because they weren't given the opportunity to have a bike. So
right.
I mean, I was just looking forward, going, maybe you never know. And one of these kids is 18 years old and may be doing an Ironman because we got a lot of 18-year-olds doing Ironmans nowadays.
Mhm. Absolutely.
That's
No.
great.
And that's like that's our job too, is to introduce the kids to this amazing sport. And as you know, it's an incredible community and everybody's supportive, and it's just like it's home. So
Yeah,
and it's
it is
emotional
home.
too. Like just again, and you know this better than anybody, when crossing the finish line and you're calling out their, their names, and you see them and they're crying, and it's like, wow, this is a really cool gig. Like, I feel really
Yeah.
fortunate.
Exactly. And I've talked to so many athletes that have been part of the foundation, and they actually said, "I wish I'd have started earlier with the foundation because of what they received. Their giving, they received a lot from it, and they didn't think they would until they became involved. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Audra, I can't wait to see you in Lake Placid
true.
to do our thing together. I
Yeah.
mean, I think the last event we worked was Mont Tremblant. Where was? I'm trying to think where it was at.
No,
That we
California, I
both
think it
were.
was Ironman. No, yes, we worked with Mont Tremblant, but we were in Ironman, California. Do you remember with the
Yeah.
rain? The first
Oh, yeah, yes, yes, and I remember our steak dinner. That was the best part about
Yes, yes.
with that rainstorm. That was the best part of the week.
No, it'd be great to have
Audra,
you there.
yeah. So Ironman Foundation, go to the website. They'll answer your questions. They will contact you. It's a fantastic team to be a part of. So make sure you do. And Audra, thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank
We
you.
know it's a job, it's a career, but when you put the passion in it that you do, it becomes more than that. So thank you very much for all that you do for Ironman and the foundation. And
Thank
being on the podcast, Find Your Finish Line.
thank you, appreciate it. It was great to see you, Mike. Thank you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Pick us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you want. Give us a review on YouTube, wherever you want. And then we can take a look at it and see if we can improve the show. If you got suggestions for guests in the future for this year, throw them my way. We'll be sure to try to get them on. Take care, everybody. Remember, you're the cause of your own experience. Stay safe out there on the roads. And as always, my warmest aloha.